For 1,000 years, one classroom in one school district in one state has adhered to the old ways. Bound by tradition in honor of the ones who came before, a new educator enters her class for the first time. Trained in the greatest universities in the land and forged by the fires of collaboration, we find her at a crossroads. Chaos reigns in her classroom. Classic instructional methods are failing her at every turn. Wearily, she reaches out to the old ones for assistance. But on her way to the autumn in-service meeting, with the stalest of donuts and the weakest of coffees, she is beset by a masked stranger. Clad in exotic armor, wielding techniques from a far-off land, the stranger brings a new way to teach the younglings, a way to enrapture her pupils and elevate them to the heights of Mount Olympus. It was so, for the stranger brought with them project-based learning, a comprehensive approach, and a dynamic approach to teaching in which students explore real-world problems and challenges. With this type of active and engaged learning, students are inspired to obtain a deeper knowledge of the subjects they are studying. Confucius and Aristotle were early proponents of learning by doing. Socrates modeled how to learn through questioning, inquiry, and critical thinking. All strategies that remain very relevant in today's PBL classrooms. Fast forward to John Dewey, 20th century American educational theorist and philosopher, and we hear ringing endorsement for learning that's grounded in experience and driven by student interest. Dewey challenged the traditional view of the student as a passive recipient of knowledge, and the teacher as the transmitter of a static body of facts. He argued instead for active experiences that prepare students for ongoing learning about a dynamic world. As Dewey pointed out, education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself. Jean Piaget, the Swiss developmental psychologist, helped us understand how we make meaning from our experiences at different ages. His insights laid the foundation for the constructivist approach to education, in which students build on what they know by asking questions, investigating, interacting with others, and reflecting on these experiences. Students have proven that when implemented well, project-based learning can increase retention of content and improve students' attitudes towards learning, among other benefits. As the final leaf on the final tree began to fall, our teacher entered the autumn in-service. Her mind enlightened by an exciting new prospect, our brave educator sings the praises of project-based learning. Resistant to change and adhering to traditional educational models, the old ones sit her down and sing the lamentations of tradition. Project-based learning hails from a tradition of pedagogy which asserts that students learn best by experiencing and solving real-world problems. Studies comparing learning outcomes for students taught via project-based learning versus traditional instruction show that when implemented well, PBL increases long-term retention of content, helps students perform as well or better than traditional learners in high-stakes tests, improves problem-solving and collaboration skills, and improves students' attitudes towards learning. PBL can also provide an effective model for whole school reform. A 2015 literature review found that the design principles most commonly used in PBL aligned well with the goals of preparing students for deeper learning, higher level thinking skills, and interpersonal skills. PBL highlights diversity in the classroom and the variety of learners a teacher needs to adhere to if he or she wants a lesson to truly impact each student. Carol Tomlinson, a noted expert on differentiation, points out that research has proven that students are more successful when they are taught based on their own readiness levels, interests, and learning profiles. And lo, as it had been since the beginning, our teacher returned to her classroom. And what was to become of her pupils? What instruction did they receive? Perched upon the precipice, our teacher faces a choice. PBL is not a radical upending of the educational paradigm. We see PBL quite simply: teachers and students taking the time to finish whatever learning journey they've started. If you accept the principle that creation is the highest form of understanding, then PBL is nothing more than taking learning to its logical conclusion. To reduce learning barriers, it is important to ensure that key information is equally perceptible to all learners by strategic network, which follows flexible opportunities for demonstrating skills learned through written, oral, visual presentation, explanations, and word process. Thinking of subject matter in an abstract way is how most young students understand and learn about the world around them. In this lesson, students will plant their own garden, which is an opportunity for young students to take abstract mathematical concepts and procedures to make them relevant. Students will recall prior knowledge about the lesson on fractions to plant in the garden. Doing so, they are working as a team. Vygotsky's theories support the use of cooperative learning strategies in which students work together to help one another learn. Students are the center of PBL, not the teacher. Another way an educator can reach students on varying levels when using PBL instruction is by utilizing integrated, intentional technology. This engages students and provides them with the opportunity to practice mathematical concepts in numerous ways. As stated by Kyla Delzer in TED Talks about reimagining classrooms, technology needs to be intentional. Otherwise, it is as useless as a worksheet. And thus, as it is hers, the choice is also yours. Will you embrace project-based learning, or will you adhere to the old ways? Will you bring a dynamic instructional method to your classroom, or will you rely on tired methods? And lo, many summers pass, and another teacher stands at another crossroads. They face the same challenges. They, too, are beset by a stranger. And lo, it is our hero. She chose the PBL approach, and now she spreads the tenets of collaboration across the land. The old ways are gone. For 1,000 years, PBL would stay.